I am so excited to get into this video because I know it's going to help you out. And what better time than June when we have 6 more months left until the end of the year. And I don't know about you, but when the end of the year comes, I like to reflect back and see how far I've grown in all aspects of my life. So where do you start, right? Because I don't want this to be overwhelming. I want this to be helpful in your journey. And I know there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that give amazing advice on habits and what you should do. And I don't want to give you the surface advice that you see out there, which is really important. But today we go another level deep, if you will. So no, I won't be covering how good it is to drink your water or to go on walks or to move your body and to read and all of that stuff. Although probably in my other videos I have talked about that. Today I want to work with your mind, because your mind is the one thing that is going to get in the way of you moving to the next level and leveling up in the next 6 months. Because your mind is the only thing that gets in the way when you put these bodacious goals out there and then you start questioning yourself, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Where is this going to come? And I want to just quiet that noise and give you tips that's always going to last you in any season of life that you're in. So I remember when I was working at a company for 6 years, and throughout those 6 years, I was passed up as management 6 times. And I was at a point where I was now training the managers that were managing me. That incident made me realize, okay, I need to pivot out of working in a company and go into entrepreneurship. What I didn't know is all of the things that come into play when you become an entrepreneur. I knew that my safe net income that I was getting paid bi-weekly with was not going to be there. I would be the sole provider to my 2 little ones at the time. That was a very scary move for me because I didn't know when and I didn't know where the money was going to come. Now looking back, I'm able to see what I did and share it with you. So where do you start? If you're anything like me, a perfectionist, overthinking, I get overwhelmed really easily, this helped me like quiet the voices and really like laser focus on exactly what I wanted to do. So what I did was I took out a sheet of paper and I just started writing all of the things I wanted, all of them. Let that be material things like purses, shoes, clothes, car, home, income I wanted to be generating a month, my hobbies, what I wanted to do when I had money, let that be like massages, Pilates, hot yoga, and the gym membership that I wanted to have. Then I went into how I wanted to feel: joyous, happy, confident, powerful, empowering, aspiring. And then I went into who I wanted to be around. So relationships, like the kind of husband that I wanted. And I just kept writing it down. The first thing that my logical brain would do was, how are you going to make $30,000 a month? How are you going to afford that house if you're only making $30K a year? How are you going to meet people if you're a single mom and everything you do is with your kids and you don't go out and you don't like staying up past 10 p.m.? Where are you going to meet people? And my logical brain started kicking in. And what I started doing was just hushing it. Literally, like having that talk with myself. Not today. Hold on. This is what I want. Because here's the thing, and this is what helps me. If we are able to take a rocket ship, build a whole rocket ship and go to the moon, if I want a YSL bag that's this small compared to all the accomplishments that's happened in the world. So that's how I would have to train myself to really believe what I'm writing down on paper is doable because of all of the other things that have happened in life. Does that make sense? Okay, so now you have this huge list of things that you want. If you don't have more than 30, you didn't do it right. You have to have more than 30. And I challenge you to sit there and write and write and write until you at least have 30, okay? And if you start running out of things of wanting, then you start adding like how you want to help your friends out or your family out. If you want to retire your parents or you want to go on vacation with your parents, where do you want to go on vacation? All of that stuff, especially what you want to do. Like if you want to be a YouTuber, write that down. And don't only stop there, but write down how many subscribers or followers you want on your YouTube channel. Or if you want to be something like in corporate, write that down. How much do you want to be earning a month? Every little detail, write it down. Then when you have at least 30, pick 2. And the 2 areas that I want you to focus on is personal and income. So for me, when I did that, my personal original goal was to release 30 pounds. The second is I wanted to at least make 20,000 a month. So I wrote those two goals down. I wrote it in present form. And this is really important because remember, we're working with the mind. So in present form, I got this from Bob Proctor. He always says, I am so happy and grateful now that, and you finish that sentence. That is present form. Another way you can do it is, I am so happy and grateful I have. I am so happy and grateful I live. I am so happy and grateful I own. I'm so happy and grateful I drive. I'm so happy and grateful that my income is, you get the deal, or the picture. You get the picture. So write down those two goals and put it on an index card. If you have an index card, if you don't, then just put it in your notebook on a separate piece of paper. Write those two goals down. And I want you, when you're writing it down, really feel how it would feel after accomplishing that goal. Because here's the thing. If you're not excited about your goal, that's not your goal. Or if you're not excited about your want or your desire, that's not what you really want. You gotta go back on the list and look for something that really gets you excited. When you go back to the list to pick a goal, I want you to pick something that you've never done before. For example, if you want a certain type of car, but you already have a car in the driveway, that's not really a goal that's gonna elevate you. You already know how to buy a car. Yeah, maybe the other car is more expensive, and sure, that's a cool little goal. But if you've never made 30,000 a month and that gets you thinking, how am I gonna do this? I've never done that before. The most I've had in my bank is $500. That's the goal that's gonna grow you, because goals are not here for you to accomplish them. They're here for you to grow. Now, this moves me to my next point. And my next point is your expectation or your journey. And everyone's journey, mine included, there's going to be some stumbles. And those stumbles are meant for you to grow, not stop. Does that make sense? I want to read you something from a book that I read, and I actually recommend it. It's called U Squared. So if you get the book, it's on page 27, and it's like the fourth paragraph now. And it says, if you're experiencing no anxiety or discomfort, the risk you're taking probably isn't worthy of you. So what does he mean by that? What he means is, if you have a goal, it's not making you feel very uncomfortable to the point where you're like, I don't want to do it, then that goal isn't elevating you. You are still in your comfort zone. A lot of time, you might hear a lot of people say it comes effortlessly. Sure it does. But first, you have to learn how it comes. So when you do something the very first time, for example, going on YouTube, at first you're gonna look at this camera and be like, I don't know what to say. And you're gonna keep feeling that way until you have more practice in. And the more practice in you get, you're like, this isn't anything. This is like talking to a friend. Because I was there. So the first time that I quit my corporate job and went into my entrepreneuring adventures, I was so scared. I was so scared that when I put in the 2 weeks, for those 2 whole weeks, I was contemplating on saying, hey, just kidding, I'll stay. Up to the last day. I was having these conversations with myself, like maybe I should just stay and go into real estate part-time until I have a home that I can sell. My old me was keeping me away from my future me, because my future me, she's a go-getter. She's like, hey, we gotta let go of this job and we're gonna sell home. That's how she is. So in my mind, I had to play these mind games, and you will too, to keep moving you forward. So I don't want you guys to get lost in the sauce of everything comes effortlessly, everything's easy. Sure it is, but first you have to take that first step, and it's not. It's not easy the first time, and I want you guys to give yourself grace, because from that is where you learn. If you don't get uncomfortable, you're not learning, you're just redoing what you've been doing. So what I want to tell you guys is this technique that I love using. Every night before you go to sleep, grab your journal and write down the 6 action steps that you want to take for your 2 goals. You can separate them from 3 to 3, 6 and 6, 4 and 2, whatever resonates with you the most. And when you write those action steps down, really see yourself the next day doing them. And if you don't get to them the next day for whatever reason, then have them roll over to the next day. But don't let more than 4 days go by and you haven't done any of them. You need to check where you're lacking and actually do it, because then you're going back to your old you, your old habits. And right now we're trying to build new habits, and this is one of them. So write down your 6 action steps every night, envision yourself doing them, go to sleep, wake up, and read over those action steps. Lastly is belief. This one was huge for me. If you were in the same room as me a few years ago when I was a single mom with 2 boys, you could see how much I lacked confidence, how much I was scared of just doing almost anything. And one of the things that I lacked the most was belief in myself. In this next part, you need belief in you. And if you don't have it, I have it for you, because I've been there where you're at, where you might not know what you want to do with yourself, you don't know what you're capable of, but I promise you that if you just put yourself in motion and believe that if you just keep moving forward, at one point you're going to reach your goal. It doesn't matter if it takes you a few weeks, a few months, or a few years. The moment you stop, you're guaranteed to not get to your goal. But the more you put in, the more you keep going, the closer you get to your goal. I'll leave you with this last story. So when I finally left my corporate job that I was there for 6 years, and I started selling homes, I started selling 1 home a month. And in my journal, I would write, I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn $30,000 per month selling homes, or something better. Because I like to leave room for God. Because yeah, you can say everything that you want to do, but I always say something better, because I know he knows better than I do, okay? So I wrote that down every day and I would read it. And I would just write it down for like 10 times a day. And I would read it morning and night. And I would get 1 house a month, another house a month. And then it was the 3rd month that I got my 3rd house. And that's when COVID hit. I had 4 homes in the pipeline, meaning 4 buyers that were looking for homes. And then COVID hit. And I felt so lost because they shut down everything. I couldn't do what I was doing. And I would look at my goal and I would still write it. I'm so happy and grateful now that I make $30,000 a month selling homes, or something better. And so I got a nudge, and the nudge was, hey, just text people and DM them. And through that DM, I was able to meet someone who got me into life insurance. And I got into life insurance. And in my 2nd month, I wrote more than I've ever made in a month. And on my 3rd month, I doubled it. And on my 4th month, I was making the amount that I was writing down in my journal. Would I had stopped believing that I was capable of earning $30,000 a month, I would have probably not earned it. And I would have probably started tracking backwards. That's why I like to tell you, if you don't have belief in yourself, I have it for you. Because there's things that I've accomplished that I never, ever, ever thought was possible being a single mom and not having the same opportunities and circumstances of others, that if you're single or if you have kids, you're more than capable. So with my last tip, I want to leave you with this. So you wrote down your goals, the 2 that you want to focus on, in a separate sheet of paper or on an index card. I want you to read that every morning when you wake up. First thing you read, not your phone, not on your phone. You have to write it down, and read it at the end of the night. When you're reading your goals, read them with passion. Don't just read them to read them. So you're going to read your goals at the end of the night, and then you're going to write the 6 action steps and envision yourself doing those 6 action steps. And I promise you that in 6 months from now, you're going to be a whole different person. Yes, drink your water. Yes, go for a walk. Yes, read your books. But don't forget to work in here as well. And this is what's going to help. So guys, if you like this content, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe. I'm going to be more consistent. That's my word for the month of June, is consistency. I know I've been MIA for a couple of months, but your girl was having a baby, and now I'm finally settling into mom life where I could give you some content. So like, share the video with your friends. Also, check out the links below. I have a private Facebook group that if you want to be a part of a community, I'm growing it, of like-minded people, go ahead and click that link and receive some free downloads that I have to get you started on your journey. I'm also having a challenge coming up soon, so look out for the next video. I'm going to be talking about it next week. It's going to help you start your goals and get into that mindset of the person that you're becoming, and not backtrack, but continue on forward to become a better version of yourself.